know, I borrowed this from a podcast. We're going to make a comedy on Cookman's tonight. What is the hardest you ever laughed?
Easy whippets. I don't know if you guys know what whippets feel like, but it's like the Pokemon cartoons where Pikachu electrifies his face. Except I was naked doing pull-ups in the mirror.
Real quick, my first laughing story is a little something that came out in the early 90s called The Jerky Boys. When, for you guys that don't know, I'm just giving my background on it because I need to tell the story. When I was in like 7th and 8th grade, there were these like bootleg cassette tapes being passed around of guys making insanely intricate prank calls. They were very profane and ridiculously funny. But you couldn't get them. Like, only the cool kids had them, and I wasn't in that group yet. So finally, when I was in 9th grade, they came out in the store, and I got my mom to drive me Nobody Beats the Whiz. And I won. And I was at my friend's house, and we listened to it. And I'm 15 years old, crying to where I really think I might have a heart attack from laughing at this. It was just everything that's great about like North Jersey guys yelling and cursing and upsetting people. Halfway through the cassette tape, I was like, hold on, I might have an aneurysm. I have to take a break, eject the tape, walk to my house, collect myself, and listen to the second half. To put this in perspective, when people say they saw Jimi Hendrix play the Star Spangled Banner at Woodstock and decided they wanted to play the guitar, I heard the Jerky Boys and realized I want to use words like sizzle chest, rubberneck, and nits in my everyday conversation. What do you got, Dylan?
I was hanging out with friends one time, and we were just laughing so hard, and I couldn't even explain why it was funny.
Here's something I can't explain why it's funny. A little album called The Jerky Boys 2. After my freshman year in high school, they put that out. And my family was about to take a trip to Niagara Falls. So we're talking about a 6-hour car ride. Now, if I get an elevator on my iPod full of 3,000 songs, I get anxiety. At this point in my life, I got in a 6-hour car ride armed with nothing but a yellow brick of a Sony Walkman, the SWE Remix album, and the Jerky Boys 2. I was going to be set for 6 hours. For 6 hours driving through New York State, I was in the backseat of my parents' car, tears coming out of my eyes, biting my upper lip, trying not to laugh at how ridiculously funny the Jerky Boys 2 was. Towards the end of the 6 hours, we couldn't find the Canadian border. It's the longest unclosed border in the world, and yet we couldn't find it. And my father's like, if you don't shut that goddamn tape off so I can find Canada, I'm throwing the tape out the window. And I was like, well, Dad, I don't want this tape thrown out the window because it might be sold out and Nobody Beats the Whiz. I better shut it off and listen to the SWV Remix album. What do you got, Jonesy?
I love the Jerky Boys, by the way, so much. It's so
There's a lot of comments.
They still got on YouTube. They still have a bunch of their tracks on there. I couldn't really think like when I laughed the hardest, but there is something that I really enjoy that I want to share with you. I think a lot of you have seen it. If you haven't seen it, it's a little outdated. It's a little dated, but it's still on YouTube. It's a must see, and it's a moment in SNL. It was a sketch that Jimmy Fallon and Justin Timberlake did called the Barry Gibb Talk Show. And I think it's so brilliant. I think it's hilarious. I think Barry Gibb is just hilarious. And Jimmy Fallon just kills it. It is one of the most, it is so enjoyable. I can't say enough about it. If you haven't seen it, just do a YouTube search of the Barry Gibb Talk Show. If you know who Barry Gibb is, which I'm looking at you. Yes. I think a lot of you grew up with Barry Gibb, so I think you'll know what I'm talking about. You will love it. You will love it.
Just to hammer home how much I love the Jerky Boys. Like Tony said, they are on YouTube. And in January of 2014, so 21 years after I heard the first Jerky Boys cassette tape, I decided on my commute to work, I needed to hear the Fat Muffin Man call. Oh, it's the one where he calls up and goes, is this the Fat Muffin Man? And the guy goes, well, I'm the biggest one here, so hopefully you're not talking about me. So I'm in my car, and I use the YouTube app on my phone, you just talk into it, and it pops up. It's the one, everybody's got it. Like, if you're in a car with your friends, and one of them tour, you're like, Radiohead. Or if you're in your phone, like some brothers, you're like, 50 Cent. If you're in a car alone, it's like, Barbra Streisand. So I'm in my car a month ago, and I'm like, Jerky Boys, Fat Muffin Man. Burst out laughing uncontrollably, can't understand what I say. Second attempt, Jerky Boys, Fat Muffin Man, tears coming down my face laughing, unintelligible to the phone. On the third attempt, I got it and was able to listen to it, and that was my best commute to work yet this year. I need you guys to give it up again to Nate Condit, to Manigian and Jonsey, and the people like the time right. And listen, if you like what you saw, please support us at Cookman.com to help out Special Olympics. The next show right here is on March 29th. Live every week like Shark Week, dress every week like Fashion Week, and treat every Saturday like Salvador Gigante.